I was watching Kit Carrier's YouTube channel. In one of the episodes, she brings on her mom and asks her things she will do differently, given a chance to go back. And one of the interesting points she brought up was she wouldn't build a big family house. And I found that take to be interesting.
If I knew then what I know now,
Yes.
I wouldn't have built one big unit for me and my family. I would, because I already have
already
3
started
cottages.
off.
I would have started off having
that.
cottages only. You see how there's 3 cottages on the property.
Yeah.
I would have had my cottage, your cottage,
Yeah.
Tawi's cottage,
Yeah.
Mitch's cottage,
Yeah.
and that would be what the house
That's
would
the
be.
house.
And that's so much easier to let out as Airbnb or
Oh
for
my
what
goodness.
else,
Oh my
whatever
goodness.
else. Yeah, I would never build one big house.
Okay.
It's traditional,
Yeah.
but it's not practical.
No.
My name is Victor Kiarie, the Millennial Architect. I'm currently designing a house whereby I feel it fits the bill for on what Aponde is talking about in that video. So this particular client is a young guy, and he was very particular about not having the house be too big, and also moving away from the typical Kenyan 3-bedroom design. We've been sold the Kenyan dream of home ownership, which is buy a 50 by 100 piece of land, build a 5-bedroom house probably. The bigger, the better, ndio furahishe umati. There's no point of building an extremely big house, especially thinking that you're going to have your kids. Your kids are not going to be there. And ultimately you realize that that house ends up being a big liability. 1, in terms of the cost of building it, and 2, the cost of maintaining. And you also have to realize that big house is difficult to dispose, and probably the rental income you can get out of it will never be enough to repay the cost that went into building the house. So the question was, how do you design a house that meets your current and future needs in terms of cost and the space that you need? This is how I did it. So the first factor to consider, 1, the design in terms of how the house looks like. We chose to work with an A-frame house, about 65 degrees in the roof, and then have a cantilever, as you can see in the design. For the size of the house, we worked with a 3-bedroom house. I believe that is adequate for most families. Given the size of the house, which is around 120 square meters, this house is significantly cheaper to build and run as compared to your typical 5-bedroom house that Kenyans are used to building. The good thing about this design is that it allows you to repurpose the house in future once your needs change. You can repurpose it easily into a cottage where you can lease it out as a bed and breakfast, or even as an office. Your options are essentially endless. The point is, you don't need to spend so much money on building a house that may later on turn out to be a liability. It's important to consider a house design that meets your current and future needs.